Our next coach up, defensive line coach Rodney Garner. To ask a question to Coach Garner, please hit the raise your hand function and please state your name and affiliation. We'll start with David Pascal.
Hey, Rodney. David Pascal here at the Chattanooga Times Free Press. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Wanted to know, it's been 25 years since you walked into Knoxville the first time. What's changed more, you or Knoxville?
I think we both changed. But it's good to be back on Rocky Top. It's exciting for me and my family. It's something that we've talked about. Sort of like life's coming full circle. Being able to come back here, and obviously we were here in the late '90s, and just the opportunity to be able to get Tennessee back to the elite status. That we feel like it belongs to. And just trying to play whatever role or whatever, what it is, with being able to contribute to that.
Go to Jimmy Himes and Patrick Brown.
Rodney, Jimmy Himes with Sports Animal Radio in Knoxville. Talk a little bit about trying to teach veterans a new scheme. Do you think it's easier to teach guys that have been in the program a while a new scheme, or is it easier to teach incoming players a new scheme?
Well, obviously, as coaches, that's what we are. We're teachers. And I think, young men, they're very adaptable. Obviously, we're trying to take it at a pace and trying to help it correlate and relate to as much as possible, what they knew before. And a lot of it, schematically, maybe the same thing, it's just called something differently, and obviously when we're trying to teach it, I'm just trying to figure, okay, what did you guys call this last year when you did this particular movement or this particular stunt? So we can, so this is same as, a jab stunt, same as a cowboy. We may call it a ram or we may call it an egg, but it's the same as. And I think, when you put it in those terms, a lot of it, that it hits them like, oh, okay, I got it, but, they're very resilient. I think the guys have adapted to the change pretty well. Obviously just the different personalities, they're trying to feel their way through. And I just think they're looking to see, that you're going to be consistent in what you're doing. And that's the thing that, we try to bring to the table every day.
Also, do you think it's harder now to play the defensive line considering all the variety of offenses that you face from week to week?
Well, obviously, this league has changed. There's everybody now is evolving to the spread. So it's changed even, schematically, what type of body types that you're looking for, because everybody's in the hurry up tempo. It's hard to sub guys in and out. So now you're really starting, as you're targeting your recruiting, you're looking for guys that have that third down value, because you may not be able to get guys in and out, after second down. So you got to be able to transition and play the third down. So, obviously, just trying to make sure that you're athletic enough up front to be able to do the things that need to be done, and also have the stoutness to be able to hold the point and not get displaced. So, to me, it is a premium, being a defensive lineman in this league.
Hey, Rodney, Patrick Brown with 24/7 Sports. Kind of following up on that, what was maybe some of your first impressions of the guys you're inheriting? Obviously, you have a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, a lot of veterans. What did you see when you watched film of them from last season, if you did? And maybe what did you think when you saw them and some of the workouts you guys have done since you've been here?
Well, obviously we watch film to see guys play and see how they strike blocks, how stout they were and different things. But, you're trying not to go into it with a preconceived idea. It's like I told them the other day when we were doing one of the workouts, and just told me, we're going to have to move guys around, put them in different positions to see how they fit schematically, so we can try to put the best combination of guys out there on the field. I took them back to when I went back to the last place I was in 13. I probably had like 10 different starting lineups, just trying to find the right matchups and getting guys playing with the right chemistry so we could be successful, defensively. So right now we're just trying to find out where guys fit the best and that they can execute and play at a championship level.
David Ubben, then Ben McKee.
Hey, Rodney, David Ubben with The Athletic. Kind of playing off that last question, how do you learn what guys can do? Is that solely a decision based on what you see in practice, or what's your research look like on them in the past? How do you learn that?
Well, obviously, it's obviously, they're creatures of habit. Obviously what we do in practice, what they put on tape. Like I tried to tell them, there's three things that will never lie to you. That's the Bible, the mirror, and film. So, obviously what they're putting on film, that's who they are, what they are. But we've got to find a way to help them improve where they can execute at a high level. And the one thing that I think is very consistent, these guys are hungry. They want to win, and they want to play better, and they want to improve their game. So it's going to be exciting for both sides, for them and for me, to be able to work together and see what we can achieve.
Coach, Ben McKee of Rocky Top Insider. I'm curious as to when you are trying to figure out where guys fit best and when you're evaluating talent in high school, what are you looking for? What does a Rodney Garner defensive lineman look like?
Well, obviously, you start with measurables. That's a given. Then, we're looking for, a skill set. Do they check the boxes, as far as, initial quickness, lateral movement, short area quickness, COD, what kind of ankle flexion, hip flexion, knee bend, hip explosion, being able to create vertical power. Schematically, obviously, we're an attack and react front versus sitting on the line and reading. And then, obviously, it's hard, you looking at the character, the makeup of the young men, what type of character they have. And then one of the things that's the hardest to gauge is what kind of competitiveness and what kind of heart they have, which, as you try to go through the recruiting process and get to know them and get to know their families and their makeup, and hopefully that'll be more revealing.
We'll go to Blake, then Matt Ray. Blake, you there?
Sorry about that, Bill. I froze for a second.
No problem.
Ronnie Blake Topmeyer with Knoxville News Sentinel. This is kind of a follow-up. You mentioned being an attack and react type front. I was wondering if you could elaborate kind of what do you feel like the hallmarks will be of the defensive line in this scheme? How would you like to see your guys play?
Well, obviously, you want to play violent. It's a violent game. We want to strike. We want to create knockback. We want to perfect, block destruction. Be able to hold the point on the different combo blocks, and just be very disruptive up front, and also at the same time being mindful of that we've got to protect that second level guys too, and not just let guys climb. So when I say attack and react, we're not just going to be running upfield, but we've got to read our pressure points as we're working vertical. And we got to recognize the different blocking schemes that we're getting, and we got to be able to play those blocks.
Rodney, Matt Ray with Sports Illustrated. Shortly after you were hired here at Tennessee, I asked Derek Brown what kind of coach Tennessee was getting in Rodney Garner, and he told me they got the best damn coach in college football. He will not only grow those guys as players, but as men as well. My question to you is, how important is it for you to not only be able to relate and develop these guys on the field, but play a role off the field in developing them into a man?
Well, obviously, I look at this, as my ministry, and this is what I want to pour into these young men. And the thing that we sell to these families, they're going to give me a young man, and I want to give them a man back. So, we have the holistic approach, that obviously they all want to play at the next level. You ask them man for man, that's what you hear. But I want them to be good students. I want them to get a degree. I want them to be good men off the field. My role is I want them to be good husbands, good fathers, good citizens. So we're looking at that, and hopefully, we can develop them spiritually, socially, and then athletically. And I feel like if we can encompass those other areas, then they're going to be good football players, because hopefully we're targeting the guys that have the skill set and the talent to be able to play at a high level. So if we're doing our job as far as developing them in other areas, then they should be very coachable, and we should be able to achieve their athletic goals along the process.
Last question, Eric Kane, and then we'll get Coach Eckler in.
Hey, Rodney, Eric Kane with the Sports Animal here in Knoxville. Welcome back to Knoxville. My question for you is, this defensive line group, it's had quite a bit of turnover in terms of coaching as instructors the last couple of seasons. How important is it for those guys to have stability in one coach, in one voice, to kind of get better and continue on with their journey?
Well, I think stability is important in anything, and that was one of the things that Coach Hike talked about. I look at when we were talking, when he was formulating his staff, he's looking for men that wanted to be here at Tennessee and not look at it as a springboard to the next job. And obviously, like I told him, I feel like UT is a destination spot. It's definitely a spot that I'm excited to be back at. I'm excited to help it get back to the elite status that it deserves. My family's excited about it. Obviously my second oldest daughter was born here at Fort Sanders. So to us, it's just a combination of everything, of life coming full circle. And I'm hoping that we will be able to form and play at a level that we will be able to create consistency. And the only way we're going to do that, though, obviously we're in the bottom line business. We've got to perform, and we got to play at a high level. But that's going to be our goal every day. I'm committed to giving 110, 120% to help these young men in all areas in their lives to develop as players and as men, and help UT get back to where it belongs.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.